Welcome. It's been 2 weeks, listeners. Today is a very special episode. Today is an interview episode, and today's interviewee is going to be me. But obviously, it's kind of silly for me to interview myself, so I'm going to pass it on to John, and John is going to take it over from here.
Hey, howdy, everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing the interview.
Okay.
So we'll see how this goes. So like, I guess there should be like, I guess on my interview one there was a bit of a background, but we should probably like give another, I guess, background about our origin story. I guess how we met.
Story.
Yeah, or the origin of how this kind of not necessarily came to be, but just I met you. It's been like 5 years, 6 years going on.
I want to say it's like going into 6, right?
Because it was
COVID. No, it was
before COVID.
Before COVID.
It was way before COVID.
It had to have been like at least, I think,
2016, something like that.
2017, I want to say.
Okay.
So
going on 10 years.
Going on 10 years, actually, yeah.
That's crazy.
That is fucking
and
crazy.
It stemmed from, first meeting was just at a bar.
Yeah. All friendships start.
Yeah. And I don't say this to try to like downplay anything, but I was pretty intoxicated already when like you showed up, and we just, of all things, the thing that you don't seem to like, Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's what started it.
Yeah.
At a Star Wars bar.
At a Star Wars bar in Hollywood. Scum and Villainy in Hollywood Boulevard. I believe it's on Hollywood Boulevard. But
I think so, yeah.
And I mean, like, same story with Benji, which the interview they probably already listened to. We met at the bar for Benji's birthday, and that's how we started. Literally, like that was the first time we ever met and didn't talk to each other or anything for like what, I guess it would be like 3-4 years essentially, because
until after the pandemic, like what, 2021 22, something like that.
And then that's when we started the Pigs podcast, right? All through Benji and stuff like that. So like, it's crazy. Like,
yeah, because he told me when when he wanted to start the podcast, I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, I'm gonna have Will, if you're cool with it. I'm like, I don't know who that is. He's like, yeah, you were talking to him at the at my party at the bar. I'm like, okay, I remember who I was talking to. I don't remember him, but I don't remember any beef, so I'm down with it. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, cool.
Right?
And then it just turned into a lot of abuse. It was very abusive. It still is abusive. But
I think it was just
not legitimate abusive, but yeah.
I would say just kind of like roughhousing, like, you typically do with people, like with friends, But I mean, through that, I want to say that that's one of the beauties of it, I guess you could say, is the fact that like it's formed this really, well, at least I believe it's formed a really, really great friendship between you and I, and it's I never expected it to happen,
and I don't say this again like to be an asshole or anything. Like, I talk to you way more outside of like this stuff than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And I said, no offense, but it's just because sometimes you go into things and there's like certain expectations and it doesn't pan out. And this was like one of those, but the opposite, like subverted that expectation where I'm like, hey, I'm talking to this dude like outside of all that shit, you know what I mean? Like
it was supposed to be a work
almost, that's almost what I expected.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we're sending memes, that we're fucking gaming every once in a while. Like, it's like, oh, it's a friendship. Like,
this gross. Motherfucker has left me hanging for on Destiny 2 as well. And
you yourself have said Destiny's dead, okay?
I know
I just had the foresight. Not even, because I still spent money on that shit for Star Wars shit I don't even use. But still,
we still haven't finished fucking Renegades too. God,
we're never.
I don't think we're gonna finish it, honestly.
Part of me still like
the server's gonna go down before we ever finish it. Yeah,
that's when we do. I'm like, hey, dude, let's go to Destiny, and I'll be like, yeah, well, this is the last day on the server. But I do see you streaming sometimes or just playing. I'm like, Overwatch. I'm like, I don't play Overwatch, but I also don't want to hop over onto the console to do it, and I don't have enough confidence on
your mouse and keyboard skills. No, but you could technically still use the controller for it, though.
I don't have the PS controller.
I think you can.
I have to learn how to.
You just have to. I think you need to like connect it, and then it'll set up drivers, and then from there you should be able to.
Oh shit!
Worst case scenario, you probably have to troubleshoot it a little bit, but I'm confident that you're able to use the PS controller in it.
Well, I do want to do keyboard, mouse and keyboard, because I know this is about you, but I've been, like I said, more Battlefield, so I'm getting more comfortable. But anyways, yeah, back to you.
Back to me. It's my special day.
Well, since we've been doing the whole PC, since we were kind of on that, like you're big on that. You're a streamer. You stream and shit like that. How'd that all start? Like, I know you're very big on like, especially retro games, like the Castlevania and shit like that. So what got you started and all that?
Honestly, I'm gonna blame my mom for that because she was the one who bought me all the stuff, you know, basically, and got me into video, or at least bought me the video games and stuff like that. I think as a child, I've always loved toys and loved playing with things and stuff like that. And then video gaming was just like I want to say like a different extension of that. And in the end, like, I don't know, I think like I can't really pinpoint exactly what is it about video games and technology that makes me like just want to immerse myself in it so much, because I've always been a gamer. Like I was like 4 or 5 years old and I had an NES and I was playing fucking Mario games and shit like that, right? But like as far as like computers go, and then like, you know, the ins and outs about computers, like with components and stuff like that shit didn't really like start surfacing until like maybe high school. Like I've always loved, like I've loved using computers and playing in computers because I think of computers as a different, like kind of like a console.
Yeah.
And I've always thought about them that way. Although, like, obviously, that's not the only use that computers have. I mean, like now,
that's your use for them.
Yeah, that's my use for them. I use them as a console to play games. That's the primary usage that I have for them. But like, I've also done other things with them. Like when I was in high school and I had my first computer, I didn't have a computer until I was in high school because they were that. I mean, they're
expensive.
They're that expensive. I had to fucking like, I'm not gonna lie about this. I had to manipulate my mom to give me a computer, telling her that I needed it for schoolwork, but in reality, I just wanted to play Diablo 2 in it, as one does.
I mean, technically kind of same, because I didn't get mine till senior.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did need it for schoolwork like, but I'm like, at the time, Battlefield, the first PC game was coming out.
Right.
And I'm like, I need this fucking game and I need a computer to play it on.
Yeah.
And God damn it, I got it. I fucking got it.
I mean, like, so actually, like, let me take it back to like elementary. You know how like elementary school, I don't know if your elementary schools had that, but like, I mean, my elementary school had a bunch of Macs, you know, because Macs were very, you know, and so then you had games like Math Blaster and shit like that. And I fucking love playing those. Like I was playing those shit a lot. In middle school, the computer lab basically had a bunch of like, they had a bunch of video games and people would go in the computer lab for lunch and play like fucking LAN party games of fucking Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, or Unreal Tournament or something like that, or even StarCraft. I remember my science teacher at one point, we would come because I had him for a period after lunch. And so then we would come in and then there were still people playing StarCraft in the computers that he had in there. And I'm like, what are you guys playing? And he's like, oh, we're playing StarCraft. You know, they're all being all fucking like fucking almost like what you call it, supremacy of that and shit like that. I'm like, oh, that shit looks pretty nice, right? And then eventually I start getting into it. Or no, I took someone's spot because people graduated or, you know, they moved on. So I was like, I want to play this game. And he's like, fine, you can join in. And I joined in. They were fucking us all up. And he's like, one of them was like, this is it was the teachers too. Like, this is why I don't like playing against noobs.
Oh, that's fucked up.
So it was like, God damn, dude. Like, don't
hey,
shit
but that sounds like a dope ass teacher though.
No, I know, totally. Like, I loved the fact that I was able to go into this teacher's like classroom during break and play these games. Like I mean, it was fun to play. Like we learned how to play fucking StarCraft, which was, I mean, think about it. It's a strategy game. Like,
yeah, that's still pretty like you're learning.
You're learning still.
Yeah,
you're
there's
learning,
still and look, there's numbers involved. There's a lot of fucking adding, subtracting, and like you got to keep.
It teaches you resource management. It teaches you about how to
resource allocation
and what you call it, the numbers that you need for like what kind of push you want to make when it comes to taking up territory or something like that.
It makes you think a lot, very logistically.
Yes, very logistically.
What I mean? And then just in terms of just your like your forces too, like the type of force, like, you know, depending on but like cavalry, artillery, shit like that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
and not even just that too, but like the upgrades necessary in order for them to make him effective, because like this is all happening in real time, right? You don't know if the forces that you're going to go against, if they've already had like upgraded what you call it, firepower or anything of that sort. So like you have to take all of this stuff in consideration as well. It's an arms race that you have to immediately adapt to it.
Yeah, you're assuming.
You're like, and so then you have to assume that the other person has either an equivalent of what you currently have or better than what you have.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that it's like you can either have the numbers or you can have the firepower with little numbers, and you'll come out victorious. You know, because the more upgrades you have on your character on your units, the more money you have to spend.
Yeah.
And that means that money you probably won't be able to spend it on the overall like battalion for like numbers. So you have to kind of like balance those scales when it comes to those games. So like you definitely do end up learning a lot of shit from games like that, especially like when you're in middle school and you're learning about all these new concepts that you like. You leave elementary thinking that you have an idea of what like the world is or how it's going to go, and then you come into middle school and it's like, oh no, it's
completely different.
It's completely different. And the same thing happens when you go from middle school to high school, right?
It's less jarring, but yeah, there is that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so I would spend like my after school days going to the tech lab or the computer lab, and we would end up be playing like fucking Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, or Unreal, and you know, like that was my immersion into PC gaming, or that's how it started. And then once I got into high school, I want to say that the friends that I made were the ones who solidified my interest into like, you know, finally moving to getting a PC and then learning more about computers. Because it wasn't until high school that I started doing things where like I took computer repair class. I tried taking web development there as well, or like classes like those, because like I was really interested in just that. Like during the MySpace era, like the MySpace era of fucking like of like, wait, what was that? The 2000s?
Early 2000s, yeah. Or
like close to the 2010s?
No, because peak MySpace was like 05, 06. You know what I mean? By the time I was graduating high school. So it was kind of early, like 2002, 3 maybe?
Yeah. Okay. I was learning about how to use fucking HTML code, you know?
Well, everyone was at that time.
Everyone was at the
MySpace,
time, yeah, but because of MySpace. But like, I mean, like I like, you still had people who were just like not really interested in learning it. And so then I was like, this is what you can do to kind of help, like, you know, fix your profile up or something like that. I don't know if you remember those fucking flyer groups, like the cliques that were like flyer party kind of like.
Yeah, I remember those.
There was one who was trying to hire me to make them a website for their fucking flyer shit. And I'm like, you're going to have to pay money for the fucking, like, you know, for the hosting of the site.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that money, you're going to have to take the geocities.com shit that's in the beginning, dude. Cause like, there's no way you can make this shit look legit unless you pay the money and stuff like that. So I would end up doing stuff like that. And yeah, I think the computer repair class was basically what would also just kind of like put me in that mindset where I was like, I want to learn how to do this shit.
I was gonna say, is that's what helped like with your building abilities?
Yeah. Because I mean, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been able to repair my own computer whenever it fucking went to shit, you know? Yeah, I was just like this is something that I struggle to this day as well. I'm good at putting everything together, but when it comes to like knowing what is good in a sense where like if it's going to be like I don't want to say compatible, but more so like, is it going to mesh well with the other parts? Because you have to kind of like that's something that I definitely struggle with as far as like PC building. But I mean, you have tools nowadays that allow you to kind of like, you have PC part picker where you can kind of like faux build your build and then figure out what's really good for it or not. But like, given how every year we have new advancements coming out with technology and stuff like that, it becomes very difficult to kind of keep up sometimes, especially if you're not really like in it. Because like, I mean, I'm not constantly looking at what the upgrades are for the next graphics card or anything of that sort. I'm not looking at like the technical specs of like motherboards or anything of that sort. I just need to know whether can I put this part in this piece and will it fit, you know, kind of thing. And so then that's how I operate when it comes to computers. But I mean, like, my exposure and my time with computers has allowed me to kind of like do troubleshooting on anything that happens or anything of that sort. And And through that as well is how I got into like this shit, like the podcast stuff as well, because like I think that's one of the things that for myself, I said this in my introductory speech for my public speaking class. I think one of the things that I'm really into is problem solving, in a sense where like I like to take things apart and I want to fucking find the solution, how to put it together, or if there's a problem I want to be able to fix it. And I think it's that drive for me to fucking figure things out that has led me to be able to be self-reliant when it comes to problems that I have with PCs or any technological problem or anything of that sort. Because if we talked about a while back about how like my PC wasn't turning on and I was like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And then if it wasn't for me going into the system and looking at the frequency differences between the memory and all this stuff, I would have never fucking been able to figure it out. To this day, my computer hasn't had problems. So it's like, I love doing that stuff. And truthfully, technology offers you that, it offers you the ability to fuck around with shit and figure it out and make it work. Because it immediately tells you whether you did it right or not. It's yeah. There's like your PC building was an example, like how the first time it didn't post and then we just fucking eventually posted. And it's so satisfying to fucking have a PC post. Like it's one of the most, I can't describe, I'm not going to say that it's better than sex, but it's almost there, honestly.
It's funny you say that because like me, like I'm getting into it now and like I'm starting to feel that PC master race in me. But when you were, here building it and shit like that, and the first time when we couldn't get it to post, I'm to me like, okay, well, I can't play yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were way more invested in my PC than I was at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was just it's a fucking computer.
Yeah.
But like watching you work and shit, I'm like, and I felt bad because I'd be like, do you need help? And you're like, no, I'm fine. And I'm like, okay, I'll just, but like fucking like you were like in it and shit like that, and like I wanted to watch, but like I'm like I don't like when people just watch me doing what I'm doing because I feel like sometimes it feels like they're like just I don't know, but he's an artist. I'm gonna let him fucking do his art, and it's fucking great. You set me up, dude. You fucking made my life so much better because of that. But
no, but I mean, like, look. You know what, to think about it, now that I think about it, I remember this one time my parents got me like a little Connect set and I would build whatever the fuck it had for you to build right there. And then next thing you know, I started taking pieces and I just started doing my own shit with it, And it was like, I was trying to figure, I would use like the tricks that I learned from the instructions to build something different that still used elements of the instructions, you get me, to build the structures.
So you just modified it.
Yeah, modified it basically. Yeah. And so then that's essentially like I don't know. I feel like I'm good at that stuff. Everyone's told me that like you're good at fucking like
like you are because you Frankensteined the fucking Pigs podcast together. Like, and it's been like, granted, like the first episode, maybe 2 episodes, audio quality was a little bit rough, but from like first time episodes I've heard of other ones
to the ones that are coming out now,
it's a lot better.
It's a lot better
than I've heard on other places, and like. Even this one, like, I mean, God damn it, we have fucking boom arms now and shit. You know what I mean?
No,
But that's all because of you. Like, and that was another thing I wanted to be like, audio seems to be your thing, even just musically. Like, we both appreciate music, but we appreciate it for very different reasons.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, that's one of the things I very much envy about you, because I want to be able to appreciate music for that reason. I just don't have the ear for it. And I like how, like, when did that happen, or what drives that in you? Because you're very much a purist when it comes to, I feel like when it comes to like audio.
I think my tastes for audio, or at least like the when it comes to the sounds that come from music, are very puritist, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear compression. I don't want to hear muddling of notes or instruments. If one instrument is louder than the other one, just by a tad smidge or even just by a lot, I need to hear that part of it. I don't need it to be brought down so that it's on the same level with the other instruments, because then you start hearing frequencies that just kind of like it. Like I said, it muddles the sound. It makes it sound so fucking like so. What's the word that I'm looking for? It makes it sound bland, So like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, actually, this is a perfect example right now. I don't know if you've heard of Billy Talent.
Yeah, I have.
So Billy Talent released 3 albums in the first in their 3 albums. They're called Billy Talent 1, 2, and 3, right? And you hear Billy Talent 1, if you listen to that album from the beginning to end, you hear like the raw fucking like the raw elements of that band, how they fucking play their instruments, and the mixing too, the mixing quality of it. And you hear like the vocals too, and even like the lyrics. I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay too much attention to lyrics because like I'm more in it about the sound rather than the actual like lyrical content of
That's the difference between us. Yeah.
And so I can hear the space between the guitars and like the percussions or the drum sets, and also I can hear like the space between, like I can hear the space between the bass, the guitars and the drums and the vocals themselves too. And I like hearing that void space because it allows for tiny little subtle things to kind of like take up that space in sections, right? Billy Talent 1 and 2 are very similar sounding. The only thing that ends up changing is the fact that like after Billy Talent 1, you can tell that they kind of started like they started being a little bit more like honed into what they want to make or what kind of sound they want to do. And it's not bad by all means. It's really good. It's better audio production quality, I want to say. But then I think it's when it comes to like Billy Talent 3, where either I don't know if whatever producer they got or if something maybe happened in the band, they started compressing more. And then it's just like it sounds fucking like all muddy. It sounds like fucking like I don't hear the spaces in between anymore. Like I all I hear is like random fucking like I hear everything all at once, and there's no subtlety to it, you know? And how I got why, I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe just like a thing of me, but like, and I don't know if it's because maybe I have like really good or sensitive hearing. I don't even think I have sensitive hearing because quite frankly, like, I don't know. But I don't know. It's kind of like a tick for me. It's something that just like in the fucking far recesses of my brain, that's just like, I want to hear this, you know, I want to hear that. And so that when it comes to sound too, like even like when it comes to mixing like the podcasts and the recordings and stuff like that, I want to make sure that the sound sounds really good because I mean, like I think about it, and it's like everyone's listening to the podcast or listening to a podcast through fucking earphones. Earphones are very inconsistent because they don't offer the same experience. Because like, say your beats probably sound different in comparison to like some cheap fucking earphones that you get from like a street vendor or something like that. Or if you were to get something like that's more professional grade or something like in your monitors, right? I'm pretty sure that you notice the difference between the IEMs that I suggested in comparison to like say like your headset over there.
100%.
You know, so like I like that IEM, you probably end up hearing like more of like I'm pretty sure that you probably hear footsteps clearer.
Dude, it's terrifying. Even there's sometimes when like I'm not playing something and I just want to like watch a movie or a show, and through the headphones, the time between like where I'm setting it up, where it's just like the microphone like picking up random noises,
right?
Because the mic is so sensitive. Like shit from outside sounds so clear and loud where it scares me. It sounds like it's in the room with me. These things are great.
No, yeah, like I mean that's kind of like what it's meant to do, because like I think there's what like I want to say like 10 main frequencies that end up being used in audio engineering or audio mixing. And then it's crazy how like every different wavelength or every frequency handles how the sound changes. Take too much of the bass off and it starts sounding a little bit too like if someone's speaking through a fucking like what do you call it, a megaphone. Take too much of the fucking of the top frequencies or like the high frequencies, and then it starts sounding very fucking boxy and very like muffled and stuff like that. Take away too much of the mids, and then it just sounds like there's something missing regardless. You get me? Like it's crazy how much of an effect stuff like that happens, or how much of an effect that all that stuff does. And I don't know. I think it has to do with just like the whole fucking like problem solving, or at least trying to learn something. I think, because I mean, I think about me learning how to make computers or how to build computers and how to fix them and stuff like that. I think about how when I was learning how to draw and to do more artsy stuff, I ended up learning how to do digital drawing or digital art and stuff like that. And I was learning how to do that. I think about how like for video editing, I've learned how to do that too. Not great, but I mean, like I'm able to do it. audio mixing itself as well. Every little thing that I've been doing, like I've been like, I wanna say that it's just like I like learning how to do things.
Do you think it's like a curiosity thing, or do you think it stems from necessity growing up?
I want to say it might be a little bit of both.
Like by necessity, like that whole like I have this thing, like you said, if something happens to it, there's no getting another one. Like it's either I fix it somehow or it's just gone and done. And it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I say it's a little bit of both, because I mean, like when I'm in that situation one way or another, regardless, I have to learn how to fix it. I have to at least try to fix it. Otherwise, that's it. It's done. And then also from the curiosity aspect, because it's like I just want to know how this works. You know, I want to know how this thing like I want to know what makes it tick. I want to know like what components are important. What can this thing work without? You know, kind of thing. And just from a perspective of knowing how to do it, or knowing how the structure works, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's why I say there's like a combination of both. Honestly, I can say that it's that.
So for like particularly on the audio side, for your particular ear when it comes to like music and stuff, do you find that like it colors your enjoyment, or does it affect your enjoyment at all? Like, are you able just to listen to something without picking it apart, or do you pick it apart at all? Or
I think initially I enjoy it, and then the subsequent listens afterwards end up me
analyzing it,
picking it apart. Yeah.
Okay.
Because like the first thing that I'll try to see if I can enjoy the whatever I'm listening to, and then definitely afterwards, I especially recently when I was listening to the Billy Talent albums, that's what I noticed that I was doing.
So after you analyze it, are you able to go back and listen to it again, like enjoy it, or does it change anything for you?
I don't think it does much, honestly. It's just more so me knowing like the picking it apart is just me understanding that this is a bad mix of it or something like that, or something like that. But like for me to like not enjoy it, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I mean, like with specifically with music in particular, because it's such a fucking like it has the expression of what it's supposed to be, you know, as far as like the musically and also lyrically as well. I can enjoy that expression. You get me? Like the only reason why I probably wouldn't enjoy it is it's like if it's horrible quality.
Well, yeah,
you get me?
It's bad.
Yeah. But like, I mean, any subtle differences or any like maybe like minor changes to quality, I don't think I wouldn't hold it against it, because I could still understand the expression that is trying to be. Oh no, that the music is trying to do, or the vision at least that the artists are trying to do. So, like, no, I don't think it affects me like enjoying things that after I've picked them apart.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess in staying in the vein of enjoying things, since you stream, have you come across that in terms of like you just finished, what was it, Final Fantasy X?
Right.
Did at any point did that feel more like work than just enjoying it while happening to stream it?
Towards the end,
that's why I asked.
Because towards the end, because like that was such a long game, and I wasn't expecting to spend that much time with it. Like, if you look at the history of like what I've streamed recently in the past, like I want to say like maybe almost 2 months. Most games I've completed within like 2 to 3 streams, with the exception of maybe like the exception of Final Fantasy X and also Resident Evil 4 remake.
Wait, didn't Elden Ring take you a minute?
That was a long time ago though. But I mean, like Elden Ring is different.
Yeah, I know.
Elden Ring's different. So
I
like,
just want to.
Yeah, no, totally. For the most part, like I'll end up finishing games within like 2 to 3 streams, maybe 5 or 6, depending on how long the game is. But if it's something that's going to take me this long, especially like Final Fantasy X, by the end of it, I was kind of tired of it. Elden Ring, the reason why Elden Ring was fine with me to stream until the end was because I was like in complete control of all my actions. You get me? Whatever variables were happening in real time, and there was no fucking like hidden mechanic or anything that's happening like that. You get me? With Final Fantasy X, it's showing you what turns are going to happen, who's taking a turn, or the turn direction, I guess. But
the order, the order,
the turn order. There you go. That's the word that I was looking for. But then like there are special modifiers where if you do some specific action, it auto like the character you're attacking auto has like a counter to it.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, and you don't know about that counter until like you actually make that mistake.
You trigger it. Yeah.
You trigger it. And then sometimes like there is this monster that is basically a fossilized triceratops, right? And it like it has its fucking like its front claw or front foot like loose, and it could reach out and hit you. Its head's like fucking jiggling and stuff like that, so like it could do shit. So that monster, any physical attack, any magical attack, it'll automatically counter you. And that should piss me off because it's like I have no way to fucking like attack this thing without getting countered. Until I realized there was like a special skill that's called Lancet, and what it does is basically you absorb their MP and their life points, and it never retaliated after that. But the thing is, it's such a weak skill that you can't really fucking like use it like long term. So that's one of the things that kind of pissed me off because it's like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Because like you're not being very specific about what the rules of engagement are. And I'm like, what do I do in this situation? Like for some reason I was stuck on it. But like, yeah, that's one of the things that kind of like irritated me about this in particular, because it was just like, this is taking too long. And it's like, I don't want to fucking have to grind to fucking get to myself in a position where my characters are okay to handle this fucking fight. You get me? I think that's one of the things that lately I've been kind of disliking about RPGs is the fact that like you can actually accidentally push too far ahead and you are fucked because if your characters are not up to level, you can't really get through that area. Unlike in fucking Elden Ring is like, yeah, sure, you can level up to make yourself a little bit more tankier, but ultimately it comes down to your skill of how you dodge well or when to attack and stuff like that. It's more action focused than rather than strategic, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think ultimately that's one of the reasons why like I was okay with like streaming Elden Ring for God, I think it was almost a month, basically.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
Yeah, it was quite a while. But I recently went back to Elden Ring. I didn't stream it, but I was playing it. Fucking a breeze, dog.
Really?
It was a breeze. I was just going in there like, fuck you, dog. Fuck you, dog. Boss.
How far did you get?
I got to the point where I didn't go that far because I got distracted afterwards. But I got to the point where you find I think what is her name, Melina or the chick that's
the one that everyone thirsts after.
No. It's the chick that gives you that you can level up with, right?
Oh, okay.
It's like it's still in the beginning. But before I got to her, I went to all of these other little fucking caverns that are around, and I just started fucking clearing them out. I was getting all the shit that I never would have gotten in my first run because I wasn't exploring. I was just exploring, doing shit. I still haven't gone for the Sentinel that you meet in the beginning. But I'm like, I kind of want to beef up a little bit before I do that because like I'm not dealing that much damage. But like the moment that I feel good, I'm going in there to fuck him up, dog.
Are you going to be able to solo? What's her name?
No, I don't think. I don't think I could take her on. She's very like fucking. I think she's worse than the final boss in Elden Ring, like horribly, like because.
So how'd you get through it the first time?
You don't have to. She's an optional boss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the last boss, like he was fucking horrible. Like he's a 2-phase. First phase, like is like I died so many times in the first phase because I was trying to learn the patterns. Once I got that shit done, I was like, fuck it, we're going to the next one. The Elden Beast is fucking cheap. Honestly, the cheapest fucking boss ever because he keeps running away from you and you have to catch up to him. And when he's far away, he launches a barrage of attacks that are very fucking specific. Like it's like a rain of fucking magical projectiles and you have to fucking dodge them very specifically. And it's just fucking stupid. Like it doesn't even feel like fair in any sort of way. It just feels like, oh, hey, you hit me once. Yeah, it's very, very, very oppressive. But like that one other chick, Melania though, like you
Melania?
need to, or not Melania. What is it? Milika? No, I forgot her name.
I know who you're talking about. I'm just not even going to try the name because I don't remember.
I don't remember her name, Melania. But I mean, like she has specific times that you need to dodge, and you need to kind of like fucking. You need to know when to attack for her and when not to. Her fight reminds me a lot of the fights in Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. That game, I played it. Fucking difficult, really, really hard because you can't level up. It's all skill. It's all like you're dodging, you're parrying, and all that stuff. That's just fucking hard, dude. Like I'm surprised that I was able to get as far as I did there because that shit was fucking difficult. That's like a more difficult version of a fucking what's that game, Onimusha?
Yeah. So like I get why you play the difficult games because the whole problem. So But like the whole playing thing in general, the streaming, like what, like when streaming became popular, is it something you were like, that's what I want to do, or did you just fall into it, or what made you want to start streaming?
I never thought that I would do it. I never really, I thought that it was like very hard to get into that space and stuff like that. I thought it required special hardware as well. And then a friend that I play Overwatch with was like, you should just do it, you know? Because I mean, it's like, you don't even need to do anything. It's like very easy. And I mean, like, I never thought of myself as like a presenter or someone who like who had the talent to kind of like entertain like that, you know, you get me? And so then I was like, I don't know about it. You know, that sounds like you have to do so much just to kind of like to be in that space. Right. But I mean, initially, like, honestly, it really doesn't take much just to start, you know, but like, I never really thought of myself like being in it and wanting to do it. You get me?
Yeah.
But once I started doing it, I noticed that I was like, okay, this is fun. I kind of adjusted to it, if that makes sense. Yeah. But like, as far as like me seeing it as a career, no. I still, to this day, I don't think I can make a career out of it. You get me?
But so like, what drives you to do it? What makes you?
I think it's just more so just the fact that I'm streaming for friends, you know, because like my friends do come in and watch me and
So
stuff.
it's just like hanging out.
Although not really, because like I'm just like I hardly ever talk to chat in a sense.
Yeah.
Even when it gets too active, I'm fucking like too focused on the game because half of the time I'm getting my ass beat in there and I'm like having a hard time. But like I think for the most of it, I wanna create moments that I can share with people. And by moments I mean like funny moments or just something that has, I don't care about like having someone being there and watching me play this game for like 3-4 hours. Like I don't think that's where my enjoyment of it comes. My enjoyment comes from like the content that ends up coming out of it, like all of the short form content that I ended up exporting and stuff like that. And so then that's how I see it now.
Yeah.
Because when I first started, I thought about like, oh no, I need to make sure that I hold on to my audience and I need to make sure that I engage with chat. Nowadays, I'm like, fuck this shit. I don't really enjoy, like, I don't engage with chat half of the time, honestly. And because I already know what I want to do. Like,
and a lot of times I don't feel like chat is necessarily there to engage with you either. No. They're there for the vibe. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like that safe space.
Yeah, definitely. And in a sense, I kind of do want to harbor that sort of space where like you don't necessarily have to engage with what I'm doing, but like I mean, like if something cool happens, like I want to be there, like as you're saying, oh, you know, I want to be part of that, not so much about like, you know, having you tell me about like how to, I don't know, some random bullshit, you know, that people end up talking in like fucking streams and shit like that. I think that's more so what I hope to do with my streams. More like, moments where everyone's just kind of like, we're in a movie theater.
Yeah.
We see something cool happen and we all react to it. But other than that, we're not all talking to each other in a movie theater, you know?
Yeah.
That's the kind of like environment that I want to foster in there, at least. Or that's what I'm hoping for.
Every time I've gone on a stream, I always like, I don't really pay attention to the chat because I'm there to watch the stream.
Right.
But it always struck me as like, there's these group of people, like a lot, you know, it seems like the majority of them, they're in the stream, not necessarily to watch the stream, but just to be part of the chat. And you know what I mean? Like they want to be part of that, like you said, that moment, not necessarily for the enjoyment of the stream, which I get, but also like, I don't know. I appreciate that the fact that you are just like, yeah, there's a chat going on and stuff like that, but I'm here to play.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I'm going to do, you know, kind of thing. And I mean, that's ultimately what I want from it, essentially. And it took me, it was crazy because like when I first started streaming, I was thinking about it. I was under the impression where like I need to, like I said, like I needed to be an entertainer. I needed to engage with chat and stuff like that. And then I think that was like basically the reason why I ended up like towards the end just going on a fucking like 1 to 2 year hiatus, because I was like, I'm doing all of this effort and I'm not seeing numbers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not seeing people come back and stuff like that. And now this time around that I've come back to it, I'm going in with the expectation of I need to make content. I need to make like fucking moments that I need to export and stuff like that. I don't care, not to be a dick or anything of that sort, but I really don't care about the subscriber count in Twitch. I don't care about like the monetization of it that I get from people like through subs. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. But like, I'm more so looking to more so make the content and then export it and then get the numbers from the other places rather than Twitch, because Twitch doesn't pay.
Yeah.
For people who probably don't know, Twitch doesn't really pay much unless you're like a partner and you have a contract with them where they pay you a specific amount of money, or you get a specific, because like partners end up getting like 50% of the cut of whatever, like, from the sales of subscribers, or affiliates get 50%. Partners can possibly like get up to like, I think like 75%.
Okay.
So it'd be like a 75-25 split. And so like, we're not really making that much money from that. And then it's all numbers based. It's all based on sales basically. So like, if you're not selling, you're not making money. And then I think now Twitch has done this one thing where like you have to maintain the partnership. Like your metrics have to be kept at a certain point to maintain the partnership level. And if you dip from it, you're gone. They take you out of the program. So it's become a little bit more cutthroat. And that's fucking
business, capitalism.
Capitalism. You gotta love it, I guess. But yeah, like my whole mindset of it is just, I'm enjoying it more now than I did before.
Yeah.
I have to say that.
Well, because when I first met you and you were doing this the streaming, you were very like focused on the metrics of it. Now, whenever I hear you talking about it, it's just like it's all about editing the clips and stuff, and it's like your focus completely, like you said, completely changed. And I noticed your attitude changed too.
Yeah.
Like you're enjoying it more. It seems like, and it comes through. Like it shows. And I think that's one of those things where if the content's there, everything else follows in time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think the way you're going about it is wrong or backwards or anything. I think it's kind of the smartest way to do it.
Yeah. I believe so too. And quite frankly, like the fact that I'm enjoying it too is a testament to that too as well, because like there's no point in me doing something that I'm not enjoying.
Yeah. Whether it makes money or not. I'd rather be doing something I enjoy and not make money versus. But all right, so aside from that stuff, like I'm gonna cut this part out real quick, like if you can. Like, how much do you want to talk about like your? Because I know like last time you went into the stuff about like you brought up your mom and stuff. Like, are you?
Oh, we can go we can go anywhere with it. I don't mind.
Okay, no, I wasn't sure what you wanted. Like, if you want to rehash that stuff or
we can if you feel like you want to go that route.
It's up to you because I don't know how you're feeling or what you kind of want out of this.
More so just people to like to understand who I am, or just get a better like feeling of who I am and kind of thing. Like we don't necessarily have to go into deep shit like that.
Okay.
But yeah, but like we can touch here and there if you want.
All right. So I guess we'll switch gears a little bit and kind of focus a little bit on the podcast. Like I know we do the other one together, but now we're doing this one. I'm gonna call it your pod because it's your child. Like what? I guess why are we here? I know you're very politically opinionated. I wouldn't say maybe motivated.
No,
but I would say you definitely have your thoughts and your opinions on it. And I know that's a big part of this, but like,
I think for me, for the most part is, and this is not to throw shade or anything of that sort at Pigs or anything of that sort, but like Pigs does seem to be having like a focus on more of being entertainment rather than like a general like talk about anything kind of podcast, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
And that's fine. Don't get me wrong. It's fine and dandy. But if there's one thing that the past, I want to say like maybe like 5 years have taught me is that things are changing and they're changing for the worse. And quick. It's like happening so fast that you can't really like not talk about it, And nowadays it's more in your face than it used to be. And I feel like you can't rely on mainstream media to give you anything but maybe like the mainstream media approach of it. And I think people need to kind of like be exposed a little bit more to like the hard shit, to the more like the topics that are I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I think people need to be a little bit more exposed to politics and everything that's happening around, because quite frankly, right now it's affecting you the most, with everything that's been going on. And so that's what I just felt like I needed to do something of that sort. It doesn't necessarily have to be 100% political or anything of that sort. That's not what I wanted. But I did want like a little bit of a balance of both entertainment with also like talking about current events or talking about like, political stuff, or even not necessarily political stuff, but hard hitting shit, like, stuff that's serious. Cause like you don't like I said, it's hard to fucking like do something that's very just like making like either making fun of things or just not acknowledging stuff like the serious stuff and be like how can you know like especially when you feel so strongly about like all of the stuff that's happening around
Yeah.
you. So like in a sense that's kind of like the reason why, and also because I don't know, maybe I just kind of like I feel like I wanted to do something and I wanted to do it from a perspective of your everyday person, the average Joe, because that's what we are. We're not like the podcasting space is filled with a bunch of different people, and the most popular ones end up being people that come from some money or some like not necessarily wealthy, but at least from a well-off place. And this whatever we're doing comes from people who are average Joes, people who are nobodies, who probably have people who clearly have no fucking experience in media or anything of that sort. So like, I think that's what like that's what people probably want to hear too as well. So like, I don't know. This is like, to me, it's just like I felt like
guerrilla radio type shit.
Yeah, so something like that. And I mean, like the idea of this podcast evolved like from the first time that I thought about it. Because remember, I was thinking about
interviews,
and I mean, look at where that got us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're doing one.
We're doing one. I mean, but we went from, or at least I went from that train of thought of like I want to do interviews. I wanted people to hear everyone else's story and stuff, to where like now it's a current event kind of thing. And mind you, I'm 100% okay with that. I enjoy the idea that it's a current event thing, because it ends up because if you're not hearing about the news from the news, you're going to hear it from me, and it's going to come with my perspective on it. It's going to come with your perspective on it as well. So at least it's a very you and I both know that we're not getting backed up by fucking like some sort of fucking high, by high money or anything.
We don't have an agenda to sell.
We don't have an agenda to sell. We just have our own opinions, basically, And what are we? We're fucking average people. We might not be well fucking educated in that sense or politically savvy, but at least we know we're sharing our own opinions. And what's more American than that?
We're also drinking while we do this.
Exactly. So it's like, it's not... it's serious topics in an unserious setting. And I think that's the best way you could get news, or at least get current events. Because if you're getting it from a mainstream media, you're getting it with an agenda fed through it, or you know that they have some sort of intent behind it.
There's always a bias.
And I'd rather it be from a bias from the average person, or at least from what the average person thinks, And yeah, it's like, I don't know.
No, I mean, because it's like you said, everyone seems to have a podcast now, but it just kind of like, I know I say that and I'm here, but I'm kind of here for the, not to sound ungrateful, I'm just here for the ride kind of deal.
Yeah.
But it was just, like what spurs someone on to do it, especially, and I know it's not really, like you said, meant to be political, but that's kind of the big thing going on right now. You can't escape it. And
if this thing ends up going big, it would probably end up being because of the political shit. And then the moment the political shit dies, that's it. It's over for us. We're not doing this anymore.
But yeah, honestly, at the rate shit happens in this country, I'm sure that it even if it's not political, whatever it shifts to, you could find the niche, because it's just there's always something going on now. But
I think one of the things that I've enjoyed doing now, because I mean, we're still fairly new into it. The podcast is still basically a baby. It's the fact that it's pressured me to kind of like do research for topics. Like I have the intent to look for a topic to talk about. Unlike in Pigs, it's kind of like more loose. Like we're kind of like winging it half of the time. Here, like I'm not super strict about it, but I do want to have like some sort of flow state where I don't want to have like very empty spaces like we did in Pigs. And I feel like that's something that we kind of don't have that much.
Because like you said, there is a focus. And it may seem like, the last 2 weeks of current events may seem broad, but it's broad enough to where you can kind of like pick anything. It just so happens that the anything happens to be the same thing over and over again. Yeah. But it's, like you said, there's an organization to it. There's an order. There's a plan. There's a structure to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which does help.
Yeah, it definitely
really does help.
Yeah.
And you could be talking about one thing and I could be talking about something completely different, but it works out.
And that's one of the things that I was thinking about too, because like when I remember like before we recorded the first episode, where I was asking you, or after we recorded the first episode, where I asked you is like, do you feel like you want to do your own research on your own topic or something like that, or do you want me to supply it? Because like I don't know how you feel about like whether you wanted to be more involved in it, I guess, in that sense. But I think ultimately that's one of the things that makes it really good is the fact that like the second segment of the podcast is always meant to be like a show and tell.
Yeah.
And I love that about it, because that means that we like the possibility of us talking about the same subject is very like not likely.
Yeah.
And so then there's always like going to be something that we could talk about. And at least like the back and forth between you and I is always like very like, if I'm not sure about something, I'll ask you a question. If you're not sure about something about,
Yeah.
you know, like that sort of fluidity that we have is just, it works great, I think, simply because there's always like, it's a conversation. I feel like it's a conversation.
It's like there's like a backup system.
Yeah.
It's almost, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it's like a conversation that probably people want to hear, you know? Like
I like the system that we did on the previous recording where it was, you suggested the shoe on head thing and I watched it and we just, I like that. Pick a topic, watch it, and then discuss that. And then after, you know, you want your two little random stories or whatever. But on top of discussing the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that works really well too.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the things that I've been enjoying. Like it's been a growing process right now. I don't know. I don't think that we will. Every episode that we've done has been
a little different. It's constantly evolving.
Yeah, it is. But at least that the main thing of us like being like, or having researching a topic that we can talk about is something that I think ultimately in the end is a good thing in general. Cause like, I mean, that can potentially be used for other things, you know, like other podcasts, like and stuff like that. So my hope is that through this, we could potentially like, I want to say like better pigs in a sense, you get me, to like kind of make it flow a little bit better and stuff like that, or to bring some more structure to it, I guess you could say, which is dangerous to say.
There is no structure.
I know there isn't.
Can withstand that.
Whatever structure it gets constructed is made
There's
out of
a lot of weight on that podcast.
Yes, there is.
There is no structure that can soundly hold that up.
We're not fucking engineers, dude.
No. I'm sorry. But, audio, you maybe, but structural, no. No.
I think that's one of the things that's crazy though, like because so going back on the subject of like the audio stuff, right? I didn't know shit about it.
Yeah,
literally didn't know shit. Within like a week, I like submerged myself into knowledge about fucking like audio, like how to record, how to set up a fucking thing, about how to record with multiple microphones, and then.
Well, was that because of the streaming, or was it just like obviously you had to learn, you know, what goes into streaming?
Absolutely. But then like, okay, so like streaming taught me about the video, about how to set up what you call it, it taught me about the video, it taught me about the intricacies of how to like stream the audio, the video and the audio into a different platform. But it didn't really teach me too much about how to record multiple devices at once.
Okay.
Because like you're never in a situation where you need multiple microphones when you're streaming by yourself, you know? And then even if you were to have someone else next to you, or not next to you, but if you were to be having like featuring someone in your stream, it would normally be through Discord, and Discord comes off in your desktop audio. So like, it's not really that difficult. But when it came to the podcast, it was just like one of those things where like, how the fuck do you record 3 devices at once? And then not to mention when we first tried to record with like a simple microphone, we were thinking that we could use one microphone for all 3 of us.
Yeah, oh, that was a mess.
No, that was bad, you know? So like, it's crazy how stuff like that, you know, through a process of trial and error, and then me also like learning a little bit more.
And it was just all you.
Yeah, like
it was all you.
I'll take that. I'll toot my horn on that shit. Yeah,
toot the fuck away, dude.
Yeah, like I fucking went out and learned all this shit, and like it's crazy how invested I got into it to the point where like I was like thinking like, what are the best microphones to do this shit with, you know, kind of thing, and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, like I don't know, like it's I like it. It's how I learned, you know, new things.
No, I look, that's definitely not a bad way to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fuck, dude. It's it's kept pigs afloat. The only thing, basically. But so like aside from all the tech stuff and all that, like you as a person, what I guess it goes back to the whole, being like you're very socially inclined also. And when I like socially, I mean like social, like I don't want to say social justice, but you know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I'm like trying to get at. Like
are you talking about like maybe socially aware?
Yeah, I guess socially aware, but it goes beyond that because you're very, like I said, you're very vocal about that stuff, more so than like I would be. Like, yeah, I may make my comments and stuff like that, but you oftentimes you seem to like want to mix into the thick of it.
Yeah, because I mean, things have just gotten so that bad, you know.
So is that a recent thing, or have you always kind of been?
No, I've never been like that. I've been very, very quiet. I think, if anything, I think the shift maybe happened like I want to say around 2016 when Trump got elected. Yeah. Well, I think that's when the switch happened and when I started becoming a little bit more aware and more involved with learning about at least the politics of it and everything like that. Because I've always been very docile, very fucking like very chill. I'm still chill for the most part, you know, like, but like I would overlook a lot of that stuff too, is like social injustice and just political talk, and I would just kind of be like, yeah, whatever, I'm not into it or anything of that sort. But then like you kind of reach a point where like, in my opinion, you can't afford to be ignorant about the things that are happening around you, whether it be politically or socially or anything of that sort. And I am 37 years old, and there's no way that I should be able to, like, I should be like, yeah, fuck this shit. I don't want to, you know, because it's affecting me. Policies that are going out right now in politics or in the political sphere are affecting me. They're affecting everyone here. Anything that has to do with like fucking like social injustice, if you're the kind of person that ends up thinking like, oh, this doesn't affect me, so I don't have to worry about it, just wait. It's going to affect you eventually. So it's like everything, all roads will lead to you being affected one way or another, you know, whether it be you directly, whether it be a family member of yours, or whether it be maybe your neighbor or a friend or something like that. Like all roads, when things like like the stuff that's currently happening start happening, it'll eventually get to you, and it's just a matter of time. And so then you can't afford to be ignorant about this stuff. You need to be prepared to see it, recognize it, and know what you can do within your power to do it. I'm not saying you have to go out and protest, well, at least like because I mean, not everyone can protest. Like I can't protest. Like for the shit, I can't protest.
Yeah,
because like
there's a danger to it.
There's a danger for my mom. Like my mom is like if I'm gone or if I'm taken like out like that, like my mom, I like my parents rely on me for information that they need for their thing. I'm the one who's fucking like, my mom is not a resident. So like I'm the one who's petitioned for her. So if I get fucking arrested or something happens to me, there goes her fucking petition, you know?
Yeah.
You know? So for now I'm not doing that, but at least I'm being vocal about it, you know? I'm making sure that if I'm in front of a microphone, this is going out into the web. If someone hears it, they're going to hear what I want them to hear. And it's just actually like, you know, if I tell them that something's wrong because I strongly believe it's wrong, they're going to hear that. I don't want my character or my me as a person to be misunderstood or misrepresented, you know, by me not saying anything, if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
So yeah, like is this something that happened recent? And I think Trump galvanized a lot of people to be more, you know.
I was going to ask that because you said it happened in 2016. Was there a specific thing that you remember like triggering it, or was it just the general? I think
the general rhetoric that fucking Trump was spouting out when he was running for presidency and all that stuff triggered me to get more involved. And then once I started learning about how because I never really thought about politics before, so like I always was under the guys like, oh, Democrats are always the good guys. Democrats are always the people that they're not the ones who are saying fuck the illegals, and they're not the ones who are spouting the rhetoric of like, you know, fuck the gays or anything of that sort, you know, or fuck abortion. They've been the ones who've been defending it, you know. But like That's all the social shit. I never thought about the policies of it, or like even like the economical shit that goes on, with it. And then Trump, in a sense, basically brought all that into the light because he mentioned corruption in the Capitol,
Drain the swamp,
and all that stuff. And I never thought about that, right? And then he fucking came into office, and then I started doing research on it, and then that's when my perspective on Democrats kind of started shifting too. And now I'm a leftist. I'm more left flank than anything, and I'm at hardcore to the like, I don't want a fucking anarchy or anything of that sort, and I don't want communism or full on socialism, but I do want something that's a little bit more of a social democracy here in the United States, because I feel like we as a society should take care of each other, and the government should be the extension, should be the tool that we use to make sure that everyone's taken care of or taken care for, in this country. And I don't believe that we should have any sort of like large entity that holds a lot of money, or that should be able to corrupt our government institutions. I don't believe that fucking Elon Musk should fucking be a trillionaire, or what is it now? Like I think that's what
he's getting. I don't know if he's hit it, but he's on the precipice of trillionaireism.
I don't think he needs $1 trillion in the same way that
no one needs multiple billion.
Nobody needs multiple billions. Nobody needs multiple, and like nobody needs to be a billionaire. You get me?
Yeah.
Like let's keep it at like fucking like $999 million. Let's just keep that shit under there. Anything above that should just be 100% taxed, honestly, because that there's no way that he can use all that money. It would take him fucking like years to blow through that money if he really wanted to. You get me? So like, why are we allowing all that wealth to be concentrated to one person, or even to a very small amount, like a small quantity of people, and then the audacity to let them corrupt the system for them to just take more money from it.
Well, to let that person, the richest person in the world, come and just hack and slash the federal government for perceived waste.
The person who has all the money in the world wants to scold your government about waste. Why does he care? So no. We don't need that shit.
All right, so I'll shift again. A couple moments ago, when I asked about what sparked your, I guess, little form of activism, and I don't mean say that to minimize it or anything, but you had mentioned a rhetoric against gays and stuff like that,
right?
And you're famously pansexual, which, for those of you who don't know, he's attracted to half goat, half human individuals. Yes. That being said,
Pan's Labyrinth just doesn't number for me.
Oh, shoot. I was trying not to mention that, but yeah, okay. Well, that's why you bought that World of Warcraft expansion, Mists of Pandaria. You were really disappointed with that one. I remember.
I thought it was gonna be
something different. Yeah. But anyways, like, how has that been for you? Going from growing up, dealing with that, figuring yourself out, and then ending up to basically where we are now in our current climate.
It's kind of infuriating, honestly, and not even kind of. It is infuriating because it's just kind of like a basic like human decency. Just fucking let people do their whatever. Like, I mean, reasonable.
Yeah.
Do whatever they want to do. If they want to fucking, if they feel attracted to same sex, let them do their thing. If they fucking want to transition from one gender to another, let them do their thing. It's not affecting you in any sort of way. The only person that it affects is them. So why the fuck are you getting in their business? Like, mind your own goddamn business, Unless my business is affecting you in some sort of like fucking is impacting your life in some sort of financial way, which it's not, don't get in my business. Like, let me do my thing. And so, and the crazy thing to me, I think the reason why it infuriates me so much more is because when I was younger, I was not accepting of like me being who I am, or me having my sexual orientation, I guess I should say. Because like I was raised not necessarily full on Catholic, but not necessarily either Christian, but my family,
there was a religion.
There was a religion in my family, and I was raised through that. And it's a little bit difficult to kind of like navigate through it, because like you're like, picture yourself like being told that this is wrong, you know, you can't like a man, you can't have any like romantic interaction with a man, you're only supposed to be with women and that's it. And then you're like internally you're feeling like some sort of attraction towards another man, you know? Like that's just fucking horrible, dude. The internal conflict that you end up feeling is just like, am I wrong?
You feel like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you. And then you start looking for solutions and stuff like that. And then like you start noticing that there's like, no, this is normal, dude. So like, what is the wrong? What is it? Is it me that I'm wrong, or is it the religious belief that's wrong, or is it the whole social like
the institution?
The institution. So yeah, like for like a good chunk of my because like I mean I want to say that like in middle school I knew that I was attracted to the same sex, because like I mean I would see boys and I was like, oh, they're kind of cute, you know, kind of thing like that. And then the thing is, it was mutual. Like it was not mutual. I'm sorry. It was like it was interchangeable. Like I would find both you know both sexes attractive. And so then it was just one of those things where it's like, as time passed on, you know, like you reach a point where like you're trying to like fucking like explain it away, you know, like still thinking that like, yeah, it's wrong, but you know what? You're going through hormonal changes, or, you know, like it's just, you're probably admiring them and not really feeling like, you know, a sexual attraction to them or anything of that sort. And then like you reach adulthood and you're like, yeah, it's no longer hormones, dog. You know, like it's in there, you know? So coming into terms with it and knowing that, I mean, we're talking about 15 years ago, where like, sure, it was better to like come out of the closet, but as a Latino from a family that's, you know, that's very religious, like, we're not very religious, but that comes from a religious background. It's like, can you really come out of the closet? Can you really like, you know, especially when you start hearing like the way that your family starts talking about like homosexuality and shit like that. It's like, do you feel comfortable coming out like to this, to these people? Like, what's going to happen when you finally do, you know? And then like I reached a point where it's like, you know what? Like I can't hide it anymore, dude. Like I don't want to the thing that made me decide that I was going to like come out was like, I don't want to be out in the world holding hands with a man and then someone sees me and being in fear that I come back home to this. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and let's just do it. So that's what I did. Like I told my mom first. Horrible fucking interaction that I got with her, right? Because like the first thing that she said was like, why didn't you tell me earlier so they could have injected you with more male hormones?
That's S tier level, bro.
Right?
Right.
Dude,
I'm jealous I couldn't have thought of something like that.
So like you hear that shit and you're like, that's like I remember thinking, it's like, that is fucked up. And I told her, it's like, you know, it's not about that, right? And I have to admit that that's one of the moments where I was like, in my head, I was like, good God, I wish you went to school, because you wouldn't be thinking this way if you had gone to school.
Well, because your parents are not from here, right?
No.
So like they also got that like kind of old world upbringing. I don't think it's necessarily an education, because religion does have a lot to play with it.
No, absolutely.
But also the upbringing. No?
But I mean, like they come from fucking like they come from rural town areas.
But that's what I'm saying. Even if you got that education, you know what I mean? Like how many times?
I guess a more like liberal education. I guess that's what I would like kind of like.
Yeah, but it would also have to depend on that. It has to be a liberal household.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I'm not excusing it.
No. Yeah, I get you. It's more so like kind of like a setting up the expectation of what would possibly happen.
I guess real quick, my thing wasn't trying not to blame education. It's more of that nature versus nurture kind of deal.
Yeah. But like that was one of the things that like ended up happening. And I was just like, and mind you, like me and my mom were really, really fucking close up until that moment. And after that, like, I don't think we've been the same. Like there's not been a good.
And how long ago was that when you came out?
I came out when I was like 18. Yeah.
So going on 20 years.
Yeah. Like I love her.
So no improvement at all?
No.
That sucks.
It hurts because it was like at one point, like I thought of my mom as like my best friend, you know, and all that stuff. Like she would like, I could come to her and talk to her about stuff. I think the thing that hurt the most is like this was the moment that I needed for you to be more understanding rather than thinking about, you know, your own personal like feelings about the situation or that particular thing. And I got like, I didn't get what I was expecting, you know? So like, it just sucks, honestly. It just like pretty much just sucks. Cause quite frankly, like I said, we were really close. That fucking just was a wedge that just totally caused a split. I love my mom. She's blood. She was the one who fucking brought me into this world. But like the closeness that we had is no longer there. I mean, for fucking sakes, I'm the one who's petitioning her to get her shit. So like, I don't want to say that it's duty, but it's more so one of those things where it's like I can't leave her out there.
I always joke because I have situations like with my family. I always joke it's contractual obligation. That's part of the family contract.
Yeah,
that's, you know, and again, it's not out of an absence of love, or it's just it almost is that familial obligation.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
I think
I know you don't want to because it sounds bad, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And I think it's just one of those things where that's kind of instilled in.
I real quick. I also think it's a cultural thing.
Yes, that's what I was going
to say. It's more cultural.
It's more cultural than anything else because I mean that's kind of like because like we have been taught from the young age that family matters and everything is about family.
And no one's going in a home.
No, yeah. So it's just like it's kind of toxic, but it is what it is.
It's ingrained in you, and it is. It's a Stockholm syndrome, really. Honestly, there's no escaping it.
There's no escaping it, and it's like because I get infuriated at times, and and I'm not gonna lie. At times I'd be like, I wish I could just fucking go, leave you guys, and just fucking like not
teach you that lesson.
Yeah, to teach you that lesson. But then at the same time, I'm like, I can't do this to them. Like I can't fuck them over like this.
And because you know, if you did it for just a little amount of time, when you came back, they would make you feel it would be even worse for you somehow.
Yeah,
because that guilt.
Yeah,
I know.
No, so it's like it's one of those things where it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait it out. That's it, you know. And I like now as an like ever since like I think about it, right? Because like I remember when I was like maybe like in my early 20s. No, I'm not even 20s, but I was like thinking about maybe like before I came out to my mom. I was thinking it's like, oh, I would like to have kids. Immediately after that, nope.
I get that.
Like,
I feel that.
I'm not going to perpetuate something like that on my kids. I don't even want to be put in a situation where I would have to do something, or not have to do something, but where I could potentially make that mistake and ruin a fucking kid's life. And I was just like, nope, I'm not going to do that. Cause like, honestly, like I feel like this is affecting me this bad that I'm afraid that I will fuck up that royalty. You get me? And I don't want to be in that position. And then also another thing too, like, and as time passed, I realized like, you know what? I don't have the fucking, like, it's not the mental maturity. It's just more so like the selfishness that I have is like, I don't want to fucking like, I don't want to have to give up things for another kid. Why am I going to, and also I don't have like, from a logical standpoint, I don't have the finances for it. I don't have the fucking mental stability to do it. I don't even fucking want to do it because I don't want to dedicate time to it because of my selfishness. So why the fuck am I going to do that? Why am I going to bring a child to this life or a child to this world when
your heart's not in it?
And my heart's not in it.
I think that's a big thing that a lot of millennials are, and even I guess the younger generations are starting to kind of break out of that lie that was sold to us. You know, you want to start a family, and I'm like, I always used to too, and part of me still kind of does, and kind of wishes I did. But I'm like, I realized like, you know what? If I had a kid, I'd be buying them toys. But I realized like I like buying toys, not necessarily to play with, but just to have. To have. So if I had a kid, that'd be at best less toys for me, which I just cannot have. So you know what I mean? I get you. I get what you're saying, and it's aside from that, everything else. Yeah, why do you want to bring someone in like that, or into a world like this right now?
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah. And it's like, I think about my situation and how I kind of like, for the longest time in my life, I was like, I don't want to be here. You know, I don't want to fucking like, if I'm an adult and I've had thoughts like that, where I was like, I wish I wasn't brought into this world. I can't imagine like having a kid of mine feeling the same way because I didn't plan for them, or I didn't fucking like,
You weren't prepared.
I wasn't
yeah.
prepared for them. So it's like, I don't want to, no, that's torture, dude. I feel like that's fucking torture. Torture that you yourself perpetrated because you fucking actively went out of your way to create this life. You got me?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe like an emotional irrationalness that happens, or what you call it, just some irrational fucking like emotional response or something like that, that people, are okay with making kids like that. Or maybe it's just kind of like the excitement of it that comes with having a kid. And then like, but like, no, dude, that's 18 years of your life that you have to dedicate to this thing.
Well, in our cases, it's not, because you know what I mean? Like it's a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, like
in terms of our culture.
Yeah. But like minimum, you have to fucking do that, And then who's to say that like
you could have given birth, or not given birth, but help foster or bring up the next Hitler.
I could have, I could have. He might have been fucking into like fucking right wing, fascist media right now, and I'd fucking be having like horrible fucking discussions with this kid. Probably be like within an inch of
your child could have been Logan Paul.
Right?
You dodged a bullet, my friend.
I think I did. I think I did well by not having a kid, But
okay, so aside from like the coming out to your mom and stuff like that, was that the only difficulty, or did it get easier, like in terms of like friends, or just like
yeah, it kind of did. It kind of did because it allowed me to sift out whoever didn't want to be there. You get me? And that's perfectly fine. Because like you fear like family, because apart from family being like the emotional support system that you would hope to find with, they're also like the monetary kind of like support system that you need. So like you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation with family. But with friends, like they're gone. Fuck it. You're gonna make new ones anyway. I don't have the same friends that I had in high school. Hell, I like majority of the time you like, but I mean like if they're not cool with you being, part of the being you,
in essence, just you being you,
then they should have never been your friend from the get-go. The only thing that I think would be like a little bit more difficult for me was because I'm not like your typical, I guess I'm what they would call a trade, and it's basically a straight presenting, gay man. But I mean, like I'm not gay, but you get me. So
when you say straight presenting, this is my interpretation of it. You just look like a normal dude.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, but I mean, like that's kind. Well, we think normal because
average looking dude, I should say. The average dude on the street in just casual clothes, not done up, no manicure, not super like salon style fucking hair, eyebrows done, that kind of shit.
I mean, like
not the metrosexual. I don't know if that term is okay anymore or not, but
I mean, like that's kind of like the what I'm trying to say is like we think normal because that's like kind of like that's what society thinks is the
baseline,
like, the baseline for what normal is. They never think about and then typically I believe that it's like typically associated with straightness or just like that. So like that's why what I say when I say like straight presenting is because of that, because
you're not the stereotypical gay.
Yeah, I'm not the stereotypical gay. And I mean like maybe there's like a little hints here and there like through my diction or whatever it is, or maybe my tone of voice, or maybe because I say something that's like kind of sounds a little bit sus or something like that you'll probably be able to like, is he or is he not, kind of thing.
I mean, if you go by that, I'm on fire.
Yeah.
If you go, you know what I mean? Like my voice cracks is just my voice cracks. The stupid shit I say on pigs, you can't go by shit like that. It's a, but I get what you mean.
No, yeah, totally. So like, I think the only thing that was difficult about like any difficulties that presented themselves afterwards when I came out was just like the fact that like, I would feel out of place because like a lot of the gays end up being like your typical stereotypical gay, kind of thing. And I have a hard time kind of like, I mean, I fucking love video games and I like fucking metal, like I like things that are typically straight coded. So it's like, it's hard for me to like kind of we're not necessarily fall in line, but at least like, kind of relate to what these people like to watch. Like they mentioned RuPaul's Drag Race and I'm like, bro, I don't care about that shit, like, or
just the fact that you're like bro and not girl.
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
yeah. And the thing is too, another thing too is like, okay, so like, a lot of my online friend groups are women, and I'm just like I'm still the same person. I'm like I'm just being chill and everything like that. Sometimes I feel like a little bit off that like I kind of talk about like my like as far as like my sexual escapades with men and shit like that, or even like I feel off making a comment about them because I'm like I come off so straight that it's like I
It
don't.
sounds weird.
It sounds weird, and I don't want to fucking have them like think or feel uncomfortable about me making a comment about whether it be their physical appearance or maybe something that they do or anything of that sort. Because quite frankly, I don't. I'm like I'm not. I don't mean it that way, you know.
Okay, but I will say that's more of a fault on them than it would be you.
No, I don't think it. I don't. I don't. I think
look, because look, however you present,
yeah,
visually or otherwise, like at this point they should know you. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't. It should be the don't judge a book by its cover.
yeah.
So at that point, in my view, it's on them more than you. Like, why should you have to, worry about that stuff? Where if like, if you guys are friends, if you guys know each other, that you know what I mean, they should know what you're about, despite your appearance.
I mean, you have a good point. I'm not gonna deny you that. But I guess for me, it's just like because even with like, I think for everything for me, I just kind of like double. Like I want to make sure that I don't offend anybody or do anything because I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to fucking like I'm not gonna be. I don't want to fucking like. The only time that I'm gonna be a dick to you is if you're being a dick in a sense where like you're being very like fucking offensive or something like that, you know. But other than that, I'm just like I'm trying to get along with people, and I'm not trying to fucking ruffle feathers, you know. We're all here in this fucking blue planet, and we're all trying to fucking survive. You get me? So like, I'm not looking to fucking wage a war against you for no fucking reason, you know. So like, while yes, like yeah, like it's more on them in that aspect. And this at the same time, I'm just being very very cautious because I don't want to fucking like accidentally say something that's gonna be taken out of like. I would rather take the fucking milk toast like option when it comes to like in general social settings over trying to like risk some sort of like misunderstanding or just miscommunication or anything of that sort. So like for that, like that's one of the things that like where I feel personally I have to be a little bit more cautious about how I express myself, despite the fact that like I'm I'm into men, or I'm not your typical cis straight male or anything of that sort. So like so I try to be a little bit more conscious about that. Like I'm like I don't want to say something that they're gonna be a misunderstanding or anything of that sort, and I don't want to have to deal with fucking having to explain, this is who I am or anything of that sort. So like it's gotten better now because like I've had open communication with them. I'm like, hey, like if I say something like this, that I mean it this way, and then like we just kind of communicate in that way. But like that's something that kind of happens over time too as well, and but that was one of the kind of the things that like in a sense I would have difficulty with, simply because like I said, like I would struggle that I didn't want to fucking offend anybody, or I didn't want anybody to think that I'm like being a fucking pervert or anything of that sort, or anything of that or something like that. But going back to the gay stuff, yeah, like I just like I can't try to get into it or anything of that sort because it's just not me. It's not part of my fucking identity. It's not what I enjoy to do. It's not what I like to do. And so then sometimes when I'm like when I'm on Grindr trying to find someone to fucking fuck, and I'm just like talking to them like, yo, dude, what's up? Something like that. They're just kind of like turned off by it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna be all like,
Well, you had mentioned something quite a while ago at one point. I think it was in terms of like pride and stuff, and you had said like I think you had mentioned like you almost feel bad because it's like you don't have like that pride.
I don't have that pride in that sense.
But the more I thought about it, I'm like, I don't think it's that you don't have that pride, because like you do stand up for a lot of that stuff. You do. I don't think it's that you don't have that pride. It's just it's not your personality.
Yeah,
I think that's the key.
Definitely,
difference.
It's not. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things where it's like, like I think back to that, to when I said that, and it's like, no, I mean, like I do have pride for it because I mean, I defend it.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I just don't think you never made it your personality.
Yeah, definitely not. Like,
and there's a very key difference to that.
That is very true. But yeah, I mean, this is all shit that happens, as you get older, you start realizing,
Yeah.
And then time changes too. Like, there are more straight presenting people like, that are coming out as, either gay or, in some sort of way, part of the banner. And I mean, like, it's changed the dynamic. It's changed the social perception of people, of what is, of like, it's kind of breaking the stereotypes that you would typically have of like, gay men or, lesbians as well. Like, I remember you used to think that maybe like fucking only butch looking women were lesbians and stuff like that, and it's definitely changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's gotten so broad and so much more like it's I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it's gotten to the point where like lines are getting blurred and
well, you even have stuff like K-pop and J-pop where it's like they're boy bands, but they don't look like boy bands.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just
there's cultural differences too in the way that people present themselves and stuff like that.
But even like, them being a big deal here where it's like, well, even going back to NSYNC, like they were not the traditional picture of masculinity, but everyone loved them. You know what I mean? It's just that not weird, but you know what I mean? Everyone has their
preferences and stuff like that.
And it varies. It could change. You know what I mean? Like it's very broad. And
this is like every year, like as time passes by, like just things in general change. Like with the introductions of new generations and the way that they perceive things is just like, it's a constant flow and change of how the general society views and how we learn how previous or the effects of previous views, how they affected us and how they shaped us and stuff like that. I hope that with every iteration we get better, as a whole, as a whole society. But given how much pushback there is for the benefit of just dividing people to distract them rather than actually trying to push, their ideals because they truly believe their ideals. I think that's one of the detriments for like specifically the United States because of like the political dynamic that we have right now where, they're saying transgender is bad because it's costing you money when it's not, just the very fucking blatant lies that are talked about, that it's just fucking, I don't know. It's sad.
I think there's also a big problem of just people just bandwagoning, like jumping onto a certain cause just because it's it's a fad or it's a trend on both sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just people have this weird need. It seems almost exaggerated nowadays. Need to belong to like a group or a clique or a faction or some shit, whether it be for good or bad.
Yeah, that is very true.
But so like aside from all that, like has it affected I know you said, whatever friends you needed to cut out were cut out, but moving forward from that, like how, like, was it hard for you to navigate after coming out? You know what I mean? After that initial just, coming out and scoring away stuff with your family, with friends and stuff like that, and just moving forward, like, how did you feel after that?
I felt nervous because it was just like, even though I was out to my family, I was afraid that maybe like it would somehow negatively impact my family, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I was afraid, like, I was afraid that maybe like, even though I came out to my parents and they knew about me and stuff like that, I was afraid that further down the line, if I were to like be seen with someone, with a man or something like that, and they told my parents, that my parents would like talk shit behind my back, if that makes sense, or just kind of like to placate those people to make sure that they feel like they're comfortable with, or not comfortable, just to placate them and make sure that they don't fucking talk shit about them themselves, that they would throw me under the bus or something like that. Yeah. And ultimately I did just like, I also thought about it as like, I don't want to fucking have my parents have to deal with shit like that either, because it involves me. It doesn't involve my parents. My parents are not affected by they shouldn't be affected by it, other than the possibility that they might not get grandchildren. But other than that, like, I was just like, that was one of the things that I would think about. So I wouldn't really like, even then, even though I was out and about with my friends and my family, when I was in what you call it, in public, I wasn't really like, like hand holding with dudes or anything of that sort. I think at one point I did do it just to kind of see what the reaction would be from the general people. And I was just like, I know that I'm not serious about it, so it doesn't really feel, like stuff like that. But then eventually, like, I think maybe like 2-3 years into it, I just started getting a little bit more comfortable with it and just doing it. The dating scene was a little bit kind of like, was new to me. because like we're talking about what you call it, about dating some people that you probably like. The interaction between men and women is very different.
Well, it's one thing to go from dating the opposite sex to like almost as a dude, like kind of dating yourself, because it's a battle with But yeah, I mean, I guess we could wrap it there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more than enough for people to like have an understanding of who I am and what I do. So
men is what you do. Yeah,
it's what I do. But
that's the big takeaway here.
But yeah, that is all. I think we'll just end it there.
Yeah, you feel good about this?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Where can they find you, Will?
You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, or Twitter and Blue Sky at Chubby Chaser Pro, and then you can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok, Chubby Chaser Pro. Just look it up; you'll find me.
Yeah, you can't find me anywhere right now.
All right,
later, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Intro-outro song is Wah Game Loop by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0/